Hi guys. How high up are you? You're almost on the ceiling, I'm just saying, because you know we kind of need to make breakfast. Well, I need to make breakfast and you guys need to be there. So we've got one packet of the markdown bacon left that we got, or Tanny found for 72p. It's quite useful. Just going to put a little bit of butter in the pan to give it a bit of a head start, because he just wants bacon sandwiches this morning, which is fine. Entirely up to him. And I'm going to use some of the bread that I made the other day, the beer bread, to make some French toast out of it, or eggy bread, with our last egg, and then have that with the bacon. Oof. So, it's the beginning of it's day 21 of the Eat Only What You Got in the House challenge. And this morning, honestly, I couldn't really think about what I wanted for breakfast. I didn't really want to think about it at all, honestly. What it has shown, though, is that we are well stocked enough, and, you know, we have been prepared enough this year to have enough food that we could probably go and do this for a couple more months, quite honestly. But that's, like I said, we have done that over weeks and months. Some of it over a couple of years, you know. But it's also managing what we can have and what we can get when we can get it, and making sure we stick to a budget. If we don't stick to that budget, we're kind of scuppered, and there are times that we are scuppered and we've got, you know, but because we've been organised, we can do something. And I'm not saying that what some of you guys are going through out there is any less, or we're doing it better, or well, I'm trying to prove a point. I'm not trying to prove a point. What I'm saying is that at the times that you can, do. When you can't, I get it. You know, I've been in the place where you have to, you know, pray that your kids actually leave some dinner so you can have some. I've been there. I have. So, you know, I've been there. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to feel like you've only got a fiver for 2 weeks to feed your kids and yourself. You know, and you've got to make that last. You've got to do as much as you can, which is why in the times that I did have a bit of money to the side, we always made sure that there was a little bit extra in the cupboards, and it was not to be touched. In those days, I used to make a menu plan that it was a 5-week rotational menu plan, which is quite easy if you cook for yourself. If you don't cook for yourself, you're not quite sure about cooking, it can be quite difficult to do. But it did help, and it did mean that we knew what was going on, so that we could plan ahead, which is what we kind of needed to do. Go and get Tanny a plate. Oof. So, you know, I mean, like, what we try and do now is that we try and put aside, say, £20 a month. And it sounds, to some people it will sound like a lot, to some people it won't sound a lot at all, to bulk up our stores. Now, that will mean going to places like Leeds Market, or places where they sell big bowls of veg, so that we can preserve them for ourselves. So we can blanch them and freeze them, or we can pickle them, or we can can them, or whatever. depending on our needs at the time. You know, and do things like that, because each of those bowls is a quid. Now, if we bought 5 bowls, that's a £5. It's not a lot, actually, you know. And, I mean, we put 20 quid in the car every fortnight, but we do not go through that. So, when it comes down to going to places like the market, we have that little bit of extra petrol in the car, so that, you know, it's not going to cost us the earth to go. Let's get a bit of the bacon in really quickly before we set off the smoke alarms. Because we don't want to do that. It's only like, I don't know, 7 o'clock. People might get a bit peed off about that. Right. And like I said, I mean, there's been times when we can't do this ourselves, and we haven't been able to do it for the last couple of months, because we've been trying to get the car in a good, stable position for the MOT. Because it needed it, and we didn't want to get any nasty surprises this month and be told that it's going to cost us 200-300 quid for an MOT to get it through. So we've been slowly getting it fixed up over the last 3-4 months. Behave yourself. I'm trying to talk here. Really? So, you know, it's important to do those things. The other thing that we do is we do grow some of our own veg and fruit outside, okay? We don't have a lot of space. We have what's known as communal garden, and so the way that York Council works is that we're not allowed to have any permanent structures. They count a veg bed as permanent structure, so we have to make use of our beds that we do have around the place. We've already spoken to the other tenants, and they're quite happy with what we're doing. And that's also partly why our polytunnel can only be up during a certain amount of the year. So beginning in spring. So we have a very limited growing season. But last year we did really, really well. And so we had, although we didn't get a lot of red tomatoes, because the polytunnel we bought was a pile of poo, and was destroyed in the winds that we get here. You know, we got a new one this year, and we've put a little bit of money into that, so if it was down to us, we'd be making a trampoline framed polytunnel that would take up half the garden, quite frankly. But we can't do that, so we have to have basically container growing with limited bed growing out the front. We have actually approached the council to see if we could turn some of the greenery at the back into raised beds, and they've said no. So the other thing that we are is waiting to be moved into a bungalow, so we would have our own garden where we can do whatever we want in it. Unfortunately, that hasn't been forthcoming, and we've still been waiting like 2 years which we asked. So yeah, and with everything that's going on, it's not going to happen anytime soon, I wouldn't think, unfortunately. But we hang in there, and we keep going, and we do what we can with what we have, right? But having it as containers means that when we move, we can just pick them up and off we go, right? That's the good bit. I need a plate to crack all my egg into. What? Am I what? I'm doing French toast. Yeah. Yours is coming. Fussy, fussy, fussy. Whole lot of them. Right. The cat's waiting to be fed as well, so you know that's why I've been told to hurry up. So just put a little bit of oat milk in there. You can use whatever milk you've got, I don't care. But it just will help it to soak into the bread a bit better. So yeah, it's basically how we do things. And then when I get some of my money, I mean sometimes we don't go to the market, so what I do is I save that money and I will go to the bulk places online or the Asian grocery store and buy stuff from there that I wouldn't normally get because it's a little bit more expensive or whatever, and that's what I do. Yum. Ooh. Right. Just gonna take that off there for a sec. Oops. I'm gonna put our bacon on here. Just finish soaking this beer bread. We can pop it straight on there. How did that get turned off? I didn't turn that off. Did I turn that off? Holy shit. Okay, that was bad. Hurry up. Right. See, the great part about cooking the bacon first is this gets to cook off in the bacon fat. Yum. Which is not bad fat. It's actually quite good for you. It's a lot better for you than veg oil. So, don't be bitching at me. Okay. I'm going to pour a little bit of this over the top of those. That should do it. Nice. Get rid of those. Whoa. That's straight in there. We've got to take the compost bucket out today. We will get that done shortly. Once we've had breakfast. So yeah, that's pretty much all that we do. Is we're a bit careful about how we do things and when we do them. I will buy stores for winter during summer. So your dried beans and things like that. And your rice and your pasta and whatever. Because normally I would make my own pasta, but there's not a lot of room in here, as you've gathered. So I don't really have the space to do it. Which kind of sucks. Because I really enjoy it. I find it quite zen. Right. Should be ready to flip over. There we go. Ow. There we go. Nice. Yums. Okay. And I'm pretty sure we're done, actually, to be honest. We're done. Okay. I'm going to get my French toast and pop it on here. leftover bits of eggy. I like those bits. Okay. Alright guys. Whoops, oops. I'm so sorry. How rude. There's no surprises or anything. Here is Brekky. Oops. We got it. There's the Brekkies. Yum. And we're going to go in the other room now and eat this. Yum. Oh, I need a knife and fork. Knife and fork. And the best way to carry all of this is to put Tanny's on top of mine. Ta-da. Now, Tanny did a thing this morning, and we've always got our fairy lights up because because it just makes me feel good when I'm not feeling great. So today he's put them on, which is kind of cool. Yay! It's so much brighter in here with those on too. So Cat will be happy. Tanny happy because he's got a sandwich. I'm happy because I got my breakfast. And you guys be happy too. I love you guys lots. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Alright? Love you guys lots. Bye.